Hey, Spuddies, Potato McWhiskey here, and welcome to another kind of like little rant video. This one I'm doing it on Age of Wonders 4. Now, the footage in the background is just B-roll. It's not going to be related. This is really just a talking video. The footage in the background is just like, I'm going to be real with you guys. That's basically me jingling keys in front of your face to keep you, engaged while I talk to you. I've put about 600 hours into the game. Actually, let me quickly check that. It's 605.9 hours into Age of Wonders 4 over the last year or two. I can't remember how old the game is. And I have a couple of problems with the game that have not yet been solved. One of the big problems I have with the game is just kind of pretty much everything to do with vassals. I don't like the way that vassal armies work. I don't like the way that vassal cities work. The number one big thing that I hate about vassals is that I can't take land from them. I hate having vassals. I hate dealing with free cities. Vassals and free cities don't feel good. I much preferred the dwelling system from Age of Wonders Planetfall. I think that was a lot better. And this kind of keys into a couple of areas of the game, but I really just don't like the way that vassals work. If I could ask the developers to rework or improve one major gameplay systems, it would be vassal. Vassals just I can't transfer land from them. I don't get to choose where the vassal armies go. And the part of the problem with vassals is that it feeds into a couple of the other problems, right? One of which is the second problem. It's not actually second on the list, but it has to do with city limits. And city limits are really annoying. You can only have 3 cities baseline, right? But you can increase it or whatever, but you can only have 3 cities. And this has a number of problems with the game. First of all, it encourages you to get vassals. And I hate vassals. Vassals suck. So I almost feel like I have to play chaotic because they benefit from raising cities, which means I feel like I have to play evil. Playing order and good, where you play with vassals, it sucks, okay? I hate it. I hate how it feels. I don't like the way that the map looks when you have all these crappy little vassals to send in 1-stack armies to feed your enemy experience. It's nice occasionally when they pillage a province and you get some money from it, but whatever. Now, the other problem with city limits is that it encourages you to do outpost spam to claim land. It encourages you to claim the Ancient Wonders, but the problem is outposts, and honestly outposts should be number 3, but we'll kind of attach it to city limits. But outposts can only claim 1 piece of territory, and then you can't put a teleporter in it. I hate outposts. I hate city limits. I hate vassals. The really annoying thing is I love the game so much. I love everything about the game. The game is super fun. There's a couple of little things like that on this list and stuff, but man, I really hate the way vassals, outposts, and city limits work. The 2 biggest things I would like to see changed are, well, I suppose let's make it 3 things, right? Vassals, city limits, and outposts. I just want some more reworks on those. So technically now somehow I'm on to the 4th item, even though it's actually 2 on my list. So number 4, I dislike that there's no lakes map. There's void lakes, lava lakes, but there's no lakes map. Where you just have lakes sprinkled throughout the map, and there's islands, but there's no continents, and there's no large islands, and there's just a couple of map types that are missing that feel like they would fit so well into the game, and I'm like, why aren't they there? So that's number 4. Number 5, oh god, why did I change the numbering system? Hold on. Is I wish I could tell how many provinces a city had compared to the amount of population that it had. Sometimes when I'm playing the game, a city has 25 population but only 20 provinces, but I can't tell any of them that are free or whatever, and so it's just really annoying that I want to be able to easily see how many provinces a city could have and how much population it has right now. That would be really nice, and it's just not easy to tell that. Yeah, it's one of those small little things that comes up every now and again when I'm playing, and I'm like, how many pieces of land can I claim? Can I claim all the way to that Ancient Wonder? What's going on here? And I suppose kind of keying off of this for number 6 is city management. Oh my goodness. If you capture or conquer a city, or if you need to retool a city in the late game, it takes so many turns. You can only raise a single province at a time, and it takes 3 turns to raise a province. You can transfer provinces between cities, but dude, it's oh my god, it's crazy. I suppose number 7, we'll kind of key off this as well, is that there's sort of no real empty land. And what I mean by this is you've got or let me rephrase that. the land is empty. And what I mean by that is there's no locals, you know? You kind of take this kind of manifest destiny colonialist approach to settling land, which is like that, oh, the land is empty, but there's no such thing as empty land. Like, I think it would be really cool if there was like locals that, like, this is what I loved about Age of Wonders Planetfall, is that there were locals. You had to negotiate with them for you had to be like, hey, can I have this cosmite mine? And like, can I, you know, you want to join my empire? You be my vassal. Like, will you become you become an integral part of, you know, my faction, so on and so forth. And I feel like that's missing from Age of Wonders 4. I mean, the free cities just aren't doing it. Like, I just don't think they do it. That's one thing that I think Planetfall did way better. I understand why they haven't done it that way. Like, it's understandable. Just like the only local interactions you're going to have are with like bandit camps, which is a very colonizer approach to, well, colonization. I think it would be interesting if there was like a, you know, neutral or locals who were negotiable, sort of like Civ 7's city-state mechanic. I think that one actually works quite well. The next thing that I dislike about the game is that I kind of really hate that the item forge is so dependent upon magical materials to get interesting effects for your weapons. You have all these tomes in the game, all these abilities, all these angles, all these possibilities, and the item forge, it just is so tied to this, like, you need a magical material to get this buff, or you need this magical material to get this buff, or you need 2 copies of this one. And it's like, what if I have like the Tome of Rock or that is supposed to inflict bleeding on my weapons, but I can't put bleeding on my weapon because I don't have like an Arcanum ore or something, right? Like, you need to have some, I don't remember what it is, but you need something to do that, right? And yeah, little things like that. Like, why can't I put astral alignment precognition when I have the Tome of Prophecies, or on like an armor piece? Just stuff like that is missing from the item forge. I'm not saying every single book has to have an item forge thing, but make it a research. You know, that's a good way to fill out some of the books that don't have quite as many researchers. Like, you could research an item forge upgrade. I don't know. It would be nice. It would just be nice to have that, to have that thing. The other thing that I dislike about the forge is there's no way to rush items. Like, sometimes I delay getting my item forge until like super late, like pretty late into the game, and then I have so much essence and fragments, and I'm trying to craft gear for my people, that it takes like to craft a set tier 5 armor, like 3 pieces, takes 9 turns. The game lasts 150 turns. If you have 5 heroes, that's 45 turns of crafting just to get them gear. I just wish that I could spend something. Sometimes I have a bajillion mana, but I'm caught. And that's honestly, that feeds into a couple of other problems with the game, is that I just feel limited. Like, sometimes I have like 10,000 mana and I don't know how to convert that into gold. Like, there is no way. And I kind of miss like the old Master Magic games where you could transmute mana into gold and back and forth. And if you had an excess of mana, you could put it towards research or stronger casting. And you just don't really have that in Age of Wonders 4, which I miss. I miss it. I suppose this feeds into number 9, which is sometimes I have an abundance of resources and there's no real way to make use of it, right? Most recent game that I played, I think I had 100,000 mana, or like 10. I had 100,000 mana. I couldn't spend my mana fast enough. I was summoning mana dependent units. I was constantly casting spells. And I had all of this resource that I could not use. I couldn't use it. I was making like 2,000 or 3,000 mana per turn, and I literally couldn't spend it. And that just doesn't feel great. You can trade it to the AI, but the AI isn't like the, you know, AI trading could almost be its own like sub point on this list. So that's number 9. Dude, I don't know why I numbered this list and then went up and down and like in a completely disorganized fashion. I don't even know what number I'm probably on. The number 10, I'm going to take a stab in the dark and say that this one is number 10. The city building UI is a little bit annoying in a few different respects. So one of them, I wish that I could filter and banish certain building or special province improvement choices that I know for a fact that I have no intention of ever building. So like, let's say I get to a city and I've unlocked the Masonic Guild or the Workers Guild or whatever, and I know I'm not going to build it. I wish I could just right click it to hide it from the list, And then there would be like a tick box that would say show hidden items. Like I wish I could hide things from my list that I know I'm not going to build. And it's just like little tiny things like that really get me. And there's kind of similarities here for like the spell book and the research. Research isn't nearly as bad because there are certain researches that you can shuffle your research at least. One thing I would love to be able to do at research is to be able to see what is in my actual pool of potential research options. Because sometimes I'm hitting that shuffle button and I'm like, I actually have no idea what could come up here. Whereas it would be really nice to know what's kind of in the research deck, right? For lack of a better word. I suppose this isn't as necessary for the spell book. I kind of wish I could ban it, like just set spells to like be lower in the list because I have no intention of recasting them. But yeah, just like small little UI things that I wish were slightly better. Man, I wish. And sometimes when I play these strategy games, when I encounter these problems in every single run, it makes me wonder, and I'm not trying to throw shade at the game developers, right? Because this actually happens in Stellaris a lot. There's a lot of like UI and gameplay issues when I play Stellaris. And I play it and I'm like, I run into this problem every single time that I play, right? Like Starbases in Stellaris drive me crazy because there's so much clicking and upgrading and all that. And I'm like, do the game developers not play the game and run into this issue too? If I was developing this game and playing it, this would piss me off. This would piss me off, and I would fix it because it would piss me off every time I'm playing. So, and the little things like that, sometimes there's little things in the game when I'm playing a game, I'm like, dude, I don't think the fact that it isn't fixed like multiple years of development later, I'm like, dude, I don't know if they play this game. I don't know if the developers actually play it. And sometimes that's just the vibe I get. Anyway, city limits. No, sorry. Number 11. City limits is, no, wait, I already did city limits. Number 11, this is why I should have organized the list better. Number 11, unit upkeep and scaling. Now, there was a patch way back when that changed unit veterancy scaling. So it used to be that like units would gain, it's like a tier 1 unit would gain less health on level up than a tier 5 unit. And I actually quite like that change, but I think we've kind of run to a weird and different problem where like lower tier units are very, very efficient in terms of power compared to higher tier units. So that's one aspect of the unit upkeep and unit scaling. Tier 1 and tier 2 units kind of scale up a little bit too much right now, in my opinion, to the point where tier 4 and tier 5 units feel so much weaker than like a tier 3 unit. Like there are times where I would rather have like a tier 1 unit with a bunch of enchantments than a tier 5 with no enchantments. Especially because they take Imperium, right? Because they don't have the racial transformations or the special class buffs. Tier 4 units suffer less in this regard, but I really feel like tier 5 units should feel like super weapons, but they're just kind of eh. Like, I feel like if you see a golden golem, you should shit bricks, dude. Like, you should shit golden bricks. And instead, like, you just see a golden golem and you're like, okay, that thing has like 3 times the health of a tier 1 unit, so I'm going to have to do a little bit more damage. It's got more effective HP, blah, 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 blah. Whatever. Yeah, I'm not scared of tier 5 units should feel like super weapons, and they just don't. In my gameplay, the majority of the time, I stick with tier 3 units because they're very powerful and they don't have the Imperium upkeep that tier 4 and tier 5 units have. So I feel like tier 4 units, tier 5 units need a buff. The other thing is like unit upkeep scaling. Like as you get into the late game and you have a ton of buffs on your units, tier 1 units like have the same rough cost as a tier 3 unit, which I think is a little bit crazy. I feel like there should be some small upkeep scaling applied to the tier 3 unit, even if it was just like a 10 or 20, like if a tier 2 unit had a 10% higher base upkeep, like on top of whatever, because yeah, it just doesn't feel like once you have tier 3 units, investing in tier 1 units just doesn't feel good. And like the game, you get to a certain point and the game feels really well tightly designed for the first like 30 turns. And then once you start throwing a bunch of magic in, it's like, okay, what's the highest tier unit that I can get that benefits from all of my enchantments? And like, that's the strategy. That's how it feels when I play. Now, I could be wrong. Maybe it's different in multiplayer, whatever, other people play the game differently. But that's how I feel. I feel like there's some wackiness going on with unit upkeep and scaling and all this sort of stuff. Anyway, number 12. Okay. This is one that bothers me. It bothers me a lot when I play these games because I want the developer... I know this is going to sound so dumb, okay? Because people complain about... When people play Mario Kart, they complain about rubber banding, okay? I want rubber banding because the difficulty type that we have right now is like when you play on normal difficulty, everyone's on an equal footing, and that feels great for the first like 20 turns. And then you outplay the AI, and then you just demolish them for the next 100 turns. And conversely, if you play on brutal, right, you play on the hardest difficulty, the first 50 turns are a brutal slog. The next like 20 to 50 turns, you're on an equal footing with the AI, and then you reach a point where you're unstoppable again. And I really would just like if a game could throw at me a fairly consistent challenge the entire time. And I feel like no strategy game has figured out how to do that yet. And because and it's one of these things where like for the first 30 turns of a game, let's say of Age of Wonders 4, I have more fun playing on like normal than I do on brutal. But for the next 70 turns, I have more fun playing on brutal. But I hate the first few turns on brutal, and I hate the last few turns on brutal, right? First few turns where you're super behind, you're not making progress, the AI is running away with the game. In the last few turns where you're just so powerful that you're just like stomping across the map, auto-resolving, like 18 stacks of enemy units that are being thrown at you over and over and over and over again. Yeah, I just like... That difficulty button is hard. That difficulty thing is hard to fix. And I have it listed as number 14 here, but I'm going to be real with you. I have no idea how many of these I've said now. I'm gonna guess that I said 13 in total. But I really hate the way that provinces are shaped in the game. I hate that they're like these weird little blobs with like little sticky outy bits. I get that they're trying to make them feel organic and stuff, but I just aesthetically they make me angry when I look at the shape of the provinces. I have the exact same problem when I play like Humankind or Endless Legend or Endless Legend 2. I hate these kind of weird spindly province shapes. I hate them when they have like this little enclave peninsula sticking out into other. I like my nice smooth. I would just love an option that would be like make provinces more round, or if there was like a set of shapes that the developer had like pre-approved that would tile together nicely. That would make me so... Oh my god, dude, that would make me so happy. But I hate the weird, like, I can't remember what the name of the curve. They just look goopy and I hate them. Anyway, yeah. Otherwise, I love Age of Wonders 4. I think it's an amazing game, and I think it's super worth playing. I think it's super worth paying for. So there are some number of things that I hate that I'm going to have to count in the edit. I want to thank you guys very much for watching. I love you all very much, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.